Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lions, tigers, and bears, uh, truckers, humans, non-humans, people of this world, maybe a few aliens out there, houseplants. I'd just like to welcome you to the Juicy Grapes podcast, hosted by me, Boy Grapes, as we bring a guest on our show and talk about maybe a variety of issues, topics, music, things of that nature. Before we get the show on the road, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. First up, Audible, because which podcast is not sponsored by Audible? You could use discount code BOYGRAPES to hack into Jeff Bezos' bank account and redistribute all his wealth to the American public. Next up, Welch's grape juice, because that's what I bathe myself in every morning before I record my music. Also, the soul of every podcaster in existence that flows through my veins as I do this podcast and gives you all good vibes, hopefully. And last but not least, Joe Rogan's DMT pipe, because we all know that he makes love to that 13 Ways to Sunday. I'd just like to start by thanking and introducing my wonderful guest, the king himself, Matthew King. Everybody give it up for Matthew.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. He's a music nerd, politics aficionado, man of many talents.
Man of like two talents.
Man of two talents. I heard that he's you're a mathematician. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do happen to be a math tutor by trade.
A math tutor by what's it like slaving for the man as your 9 to 5 teaching little children?
Honestly, it's pretty rad.
It's pretty rad.
It's pretty
What's
fucking
the
rad.
You ever run into like any really misbehaved children?
Yeah, actually, well, I mean, it's not really misbehaving. I think it was more confusion on my part. But I had this kid today, and he was doing like a little assessment, and I thought for the life of me that he was cheating. Like, I was just so convinced that he was cheating. But then when I checked his assessments, like all the answers were wrong. So I don't really think I don't think he was cheating.
So you just like called him out over like nothing?
No, I didn't say anything because like I was gonna say something. Then I looked at the answers and I was like, if he's cheating, he's doing a really bad job of it. So I just let it slide.
I mean, I've tried cheating before, and I'll get like C's. But that's because like if you're like copying off the person next to you or something.
Yeah, you
like
gotta switch it up so that you don't op on both of you.
Exactly. So I gotta ask, because I know that you went to work today.
Yeah.
Do you make sure? Because I know some people do. Did you eat breakfast before you went to work?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
Well, man, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, man. What are you doing?
I just am not a fan of breakfast foods like waffles, pancakes, eggs, all that shit. Just do not like it.
How do you feel about cereal?
Oh, I got cereal has a special place in my heart. But it's more like I'm more of like a 3 a.m. like butt ass naked in the kitchen, like eating 4 bowls of cereal type of person than I am like, bright and early rise and shine.
Yeah, I get. Well, what is it? Gosh, I remember one time like I woke up because I didn't even know that people ate cereal at night. This is when I was like 8, and I get up after a really long nap. I walk through the hallway and it's pitch black outside, and I see my brother eating cereal, and I see my mom watching an NBA game, and I'm standing there so bewildered. I'm like, is it night or is it morning? And that's when I got introduced to cereal as more of like a snack food.
Would you say your life has changed significantly since that incident?
I think it has. Although I do mostly eat cereal for breakfast. Speaking of, what do you think your favorite cereal is?
Oh, without a question, it's the cinnamon. Or no, not the cinnamon, sorry. Wow. Jesus Christ. There's a little question. No. The vanilla Chex.
Vanilla Chex?
Yes. Bro, if you haven't, you've had them, haven't you?
No, I've had Chex Mix. Like the dry
Chex
like
Mix.
Chex Mix is
doesn't it have
good.
like
I love
goldfish and
Chex
shit in
Mix.
it?
No, it has. Oh my gosh, what even is it? It has like the Chex. Uh, gosh, just a bunch of like dry,
You don't even know
crunchy,
what's in it.
salty stuff. I don't even know what's in it,
S-
but it's good. It's great. It's great hiking food. That's why I love Chex Mix. I never had Chex cereal. I'd say because I know maybe you know how much I've expressed my love for it, but in my personal opinion, I do think that Cap'n Crunch is the
Mm,
best cereal.
you know.
Have you had Cap'n Crunch? I feel
Oh,
like it's
I've
very
definitely had Cap'n Crunch. I would say it's top 10, probably. But Vanilla Chex just has like such a special place in my heart that I don't think I'm ready to part with that.
does it because I know one of the reasons why I love Cap'n Crunch so much is because it really like maintains its crunchiness, like even post milking,
Yeah.
it's still very like do Chex hold up the same? Because I know that there's like air holes in Chex. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When I pour myself a bowl of Chex, I don't let it get to the point where it's like soggy. So I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Because
shoveling it down my face.
I hate it when people eat their cereal, and they get down to like the last like two or three, and they're just kind of like floating along in there. Because what I do is I like to kind of drink the milk as I chow down
Oh,
to like keep the same ratio of milk
see,
to cereal
that's not
throughout.
me. I use way too much milk. And then I have a little glass of cereal flavored milk at the end. That's the moves.
That's I don't know. I'm not like a big enjoyer of milk, but I'm also not a
Mm.
big enjoyer of uh, dry cereal. I know that
Well, there's like
in one of it.
there's sort of an interesting dichotomy there because I love milk, but I'm also lactose intolerant. So, you know,
Well, isn't the only risk of like having dairy and stuff while you're lactose intolerant
like
is you
literally
just get
shitting your
like
brains out.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
that's a pretty big risk.
that's a small price to
Well,
pay like if you really love milk.
shit, I guess so. Well, I can't really like put a price on it either way because like if someone paid me $5 and was like, "I can make you not shit your brains out right now," would I take it?
I know.
Would I, or
Yeah,
if I had
yeah,
to pay
yeah,
five
yeah.
dollars for that, would I do that? Maybe, actually.
What is it?
And that's
I
like a
know
gallon
that.
of milk you could get for $5.
Gosh, I can't straight up drink milk like that. But I remember Kendrick Lamar was doing an interview and he expressed his love for Fruity Pebbles. And he said that when he eats his
Mm.
cereal, he pours the milk in and then he kind of like lets it sit for a bit so the cereal can kind of like absorb
Oh,
some of the
yeah,
milk,
I
but
know
you don't
exactly
let it
what
get
you're
soggy.
talking about.
Yeah, what you seen the interview or like the thing
Yeah,
that Kendrick is
I've
talking about doing?
100% seen the interview. No, that's absolutely foul. He's canceled. On the
Well,
topic of like fruity pebbles, though, have you seen the? Oh shoot, what video is it? Is it? It's one of the Brockhampton music videos. I think off Saturation one, where they have Merlin in a
yeah, yeah,
bathtub
yeah, yeah, yeah.
full of
Yeah,
like fruity
Merlin.
pebbles and like
Oh my gosh,
cereal and
which one
shit.
was that? That was the
What gold?
Balagana. No, it
It's
wasn't gold.
fucking. Oh, yeah,
It was
it's
the one where
Junkie.
Junkie.
Junkie,
Yes,
100.
yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
was off Sat too. My bad. I'm really.
Man,
I mix up the music videos. I don't know. My
while
bad.
we're on
Kill me.
while we're on the topic of like Brockhampton,
Yeah.
Kendrick, that type of deal, because I know that you love to listen to a lot of music. Who? Because a lot of everybody has a different opinion on this. Who do you think is like the best rapper in your eyes?
Ooh. Okay. I'm very heavily biased, but I'm gonna say Kendrick. And I know that's like sort of a cop out answer, but I wrote my extended essay for IB on Good Kid, Mad City, and the sort of autoethnography that he creates within that album.
Yeah,
So
didn't IB include Damn as like
yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
as a prescribed text
the curric?
for yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have put To Pimp a Butterfly, to be
To
honest.
Pimp a Butterfly,
But
wow, that album makes me feel things.
I it's just my brother really because he's a big fan of like basic trap and stuff, and he thinks it's like like he sees no difference between Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly, other
What?
than like, oh my gosh, it's the weirdest take.
Find
He's
me a
like,
swimming
bro,
pools on.
it's them just putting a bunch of jazz samples. I'm like, bro, I think
Fucking
I'd say
Thundercat?
like
Don't dis- Oh
yeah,
my.
Thundercat's very good. You see a
Yes.
Dragon Ball Durag
Fucking probably.
is the oh my, it's a funny ass music video. But anyways, I think because a lot of people, it's either Kendrick or Kanye.
Kanye?
I think
Who puts
yeah,
Kanye as their number? I feel like with most of the hip hop heads I talk to, it's some like they want to appeal to like their old head, like friends. So like, oh, I gotta have Biggie. Meanwhile, they've listened to like what Juicy and that's it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think like of old school rappers, probably
I'm gonna
like
get
Outkast, like Andre.
I'm gonna get shot for this. Okay, this is gonna be a very hot take.
Oh my gosh, what is it?
I got Snoop Dogg.
Really?
Yeah, I got Snoop Dogg. Okay.
If you listen to like a lot of those gosh, like those Inglewood people from the 90s, bro,
Yeah.
they all sound like Snoop Dogg. Like they all have that same like like that like really like loose and I think because of that it just doesn't really seem like something special. It's just like that regional sound, and
Okay.
Snoop Dogg's just kind of like the
My
flagship.
bad. My bad. I'm gonna have you repeat all that because my dad just walked in my room to ask me a question.
Bro.
So if you could repeat that whole like I hate to say diatribe because that has negative connotations, but like everything that you just said, can you say it again? We can like cut it out or something. Use tricky editing. Pretend like this did never happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this in just to embarrass you.
Put that shit
But,
in, bro.
okay.
I'll own
Okay.
that shit. I love my dad.
So, because I know that Maddie, or was it Roswell, was showing me a bunch of
Did you just
this-
dox Roswell?
You got to put her on the map. Her music is good enough for people to know who she is, I feel like. Check out Roswell or AR4U on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud. Very, very good producer. I'm friends with her. But anyway, she was sending me some of these songs from these people from Inglewood, which is
Yeah.
where Snoop Dogg is from. And they all have that same G-Funk
Mhm.
classic sound.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of like, it sounds like a bunch of like mini Snoop Dogs. And I feel like with Snoop Dogg, it's really just he has that regional sound, but he's just kind of like the flagship
Yeah.
Inglewood person.
So,
I think past that, like that's really where his like influence ends.
well, here's my thing. When you got someone like that, right? Like, let me think. When someone's sound is sort of representative of an entire like subgenre or niche of like the music that they make, right? So is it Snoop Dogg has the Inglewood sound, or is it everyone just copied whatever Snoop Dogg was doing because he was so poppin', he was so, influential in that area that everything sounds like him. For example, like, the entire genre of drill music doesn't sound like Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke just makes drill music. But I feel like Snoop Dogg was the blueprint for a lot of everything that came out of the West Coast at that time.
Yeah, but like let's say like Chief Keef, especially with trap today,
Mhm.
he's pretty much like the godfather of this modern sound. Does that make
Yeah.
him one of the best of all time? Do you think Chief Keef is one of the best rappers of all time?
No, I don't think Chief Keef. This might also be controversial. I feel like everything I say, Jesus Christ. No, I don't think Chief Keef is one of the best rappers of all time. However, what I would say is listen to Doggy Style. I know you've already listened to it, but listen to it again.
I actually haven't listened to it.
Oh my goodness! And you have the audacity to tell me
sorry.
about Snoop
sorry.
Dogg. You have the audacity to draw the Chief Keef comparison. Meanwhile, you haven't even listened to
just talking about
the
influence.
greatest hip hop album ever produced. No, I'm done.
I mean,
No,
I know that.
that was a reach.
I mean, no. Death Row made some really good stuff. I'm hip to like especially like old Dre,
Mm.
and like I grew up with Tupac, so I think that's really good. But I do like that take. Uh, I know that I saw on the Grammys. Because speaking of like older rap,
Mm.
I saw like Run DMC
Ooh.
and Aerosmith, and that made me think about a lot of this like music history. And I was
Ooh.
thinking like there's so many similarities between rock and rap.
Oh, are you
Uh,
gonna do like the counterculture thing?
no, I want to say like
Have
counterculture,
you've
but I
heard that
think that
before though,
like
right?
let's say like where it's just people like going against the grain, and like that's their whole thing.
Yeah, where like
I think in that case,
the rock culture of like, rebellion and punk shit uh sort of maps onto or is analogous to modern hip hop culture and their sort of disenfranchisement, or not disenfranchisement, but their sort of lack of connection that a lot of people,
no, but if
particularly uh, in like low income, majority minority, wow, communities, feel with the system as a whole. Have you heard that
no, but
that
what
take?
I'm thinking of is
Are you talking about musical similarities?
I'm talking about no, not musical similarities, but really like the history. Because if you think about it, rock and rap they both originated from, it was like an African American thing,
Yeah.
and at one point in time it became so popular, and when it blew up, there was just a ridiculous amount of subgenres and just things that came off of it. I think rap is the same way. I think rap in the late 2010s and the 2020s
Mm.
is what rock was in the 1980s, and you have like acts like where like Pink Floyd, where they took a more production, experimental sound point, like
Yeah.
point, and it sold really well. I think like the same way as like with Outkast. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
like would you say that like I know maybe they have a similar timeline, but would you say that rap is the new rock?
I think there is definitely a comparison to be drawn, but I don't want to overstate how useful that comparison is. Because I think they're two very distinct phenomenon in their own way, right?
Well,
So I
I
wouldn't
think
sort
they sound different,
I wouldn't make
but
like a generalization about even the sort of cultural or marketing uh, legacies of both genres. Like I think there's a comparison to be made, but I wouldn't say, a generalization like rap is the new rock. You know what I mean? I think there's sort of distinct
yeah,
enough differences. Um,
I think
and also I think rap has largely retained its black sovereignty, whereas uh, like rock and jazz nowadays you're gonna find just as many like white rock musicians. I mean, we all know fucking Elvis stole rock from from black
yeah.
people, right?
Well,
And you know that like jazz was once upon a time considered like dirty gutter music because it was black people playing it and people were just mad racist back
well,
then.
anytime something really new comes along, people are gonna get upset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch on that point in a bit, uh, but like if I think maybe like white people are starting to take over. Like if you look at people like DaBaby or freaking Lil Tecca, the people that really put money in these rappers' pockets
Yeah. Like middle
are these like
class, like,
white kids,
yeah,
yeah, like middle
the
class, upper
bourgeois.
class white kids. And if you look at people like Post Malone or like Macklemore,
Mm-hmm.
there's this appropriation, and because they're recognizable and they make that like sound that these white kids like to hear,
Yeah.
it sells really really well. And I think more people like that are starting to pop up,
Well,
and so I think it's
I think that's sort of
I
a
think rap is starting to get like appropriated, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a given for most popular forms of music, because you've got someone like you mentioned, Macklemore, like he made Thrift Shop. It was, I mean, there was, he said curse words, but overall, right, what he was talking about is something that like your soccer moms can play. You can put that on like the radio in, suburbia, and it's
I'm
not
not
gonna,
gonna lie, bro. When I was 10, Thrift Shop and Can't Hold Us were like
yeah,
that was it, man.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
don't tell me you didn't like
no,
more
100%.
back then.
But I guess sort of the larger point that I'm getting at is since the genre sort of blew up, you've got this commodification, I guess, of it, where it's less about sort of the quote realness or like how raw it is, and more about how well can I package this and sell it to as broad an audience as possible. And if you're in the American music selling business, that means appealing to white people. It means putting it on the radio in suburbia. It means taking it out of this very sort of niche market. And while I think that has happened, I also think that hip-hop is unique for having retained its black sovereignty for this long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well...
Because, I mean, largely, you have these people, but most of your rappers, right, it's not really a homogenous mix. You've definitely got a prevailing group.
That's true. That's good. And, well, if you look at... because rap is now the number one genre.
Yeah.
So, do you think rock is dead? Because I know that,
no.
do you think...
No?
No,
not even a little bit.
So what do you think?
I don't think...
Where do you think rock is going now?
I do think it's becoming more underground. But I mean, you've still got, I guess you could say, this isn't rock, this is alternative, whatever. You've got, like, your fan bases for, you know, your emo rock, I guess as you would say. Like, you know, what, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, that was still selling. And while I agree that that's not, you know, Aerosmith or whatever, you've also got sort of an underground community, I guess. Maybe even less underground, just sort of a sector of music consumption that's still very into things like metal and punk. You've got a lot of groups now that are still releasing and still... I mean, Corey Taylor put out like 2 songs. He put out a song with like Tech 9 yesterday, or like 2 days ago.
Oh my gosh.
Did you listen to that?
No, but I
Corey
remember
Taylor
being very
of
into...
Slipknot. But it was...
Yeah. I remember when I was 14, I went through a speed rap phase where I was really into people like Tech 9 and Twista and like Eminem, who just go like... I'm like, I thought that was like so cool.
Everyone I feel like everyone went through that phase. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk about. Oh jeez, this is cringy.
I think with the exception of people like Black Midi, maybe. To be honest, in my opinion, I think rock music has kind of hit a wall.
Yeah.
In terms of progress, because in the 70s and in the 80s, even in the 90s, it was evolving like crazy, and then it just kind of fell apart. In the 2000s when pop music took over. And now when people think of like modern rock music, they think of people like, oh my gosh, who made that song Lonely Boy? What are they called? The Black Keys, where it's like Red Lobster commercial music.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of the rock music that really prevails now and sells. Yeah. Where it's just kind of a shell of what rock music used to be. So I think really in terms of like straightforward rock music, in my opinion, it's not dead, but it's definitely like at the end of the line.
Yeah, it's my bad. I set my phone down. Yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about there, but I guess I kind of have to disagree with you there because a lot of my friends in real life come from the DC quote-unquote underground metal punk scene.
Well, no, of course that music is still like being performed and being played and being made.
Yeah.
But it's not like anything new is happening. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a very like Fantano take on, just because it's not, you know, the craze like it was. I don't think that means the music isn't evolving, because I mean, you've got sort of rebirths of a lot of genres. Like, there's this band that I'm very fond of, from Louisville, Kentucky, called Guerrilla Warfare.
No. It's not Louisville. It's Louisville.
Louisville.
No, Louisville.
Okay.
Louisville. That's how they say it over there.
Louisville. I'm gonna not do that.
What? I swear, if the band ever hears this podcast, they're gonna be very upset.
They're gonna be pissed. If they ever hear the podcast,
if they
ever hear the podcast, run me my money, okay? I don't do promotions for free, right? Well, sorry, from Louisville. From fucking
Louisville.
Whoville, Kentucky.
It's Louisville.
Got Guerrilla
Bro.
Warfare. It's one of my. I think they've really sort of. I hate to say revitalized, because they've got what, like 10,000 Spotify listeners. It's not like they're, pumping a whole lot of new energy into the genre, but I would say what they're doing is sort of breaking the wall, or stepping through an already broken wall of between the genre of sort of your rock / metal / new metal, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of like hip hop vocals that they have. So I think with genre fusing and just putting out new art, I think it's unfair to characterize rock as like a dead genre, whereas one where innovation has been stifled. Because I think we're slowly moving towards almost like a post-genre world, like what Igor was put in the like urban category at the Grammys.
Yeah.
How's that
yeah.
urban? That's like maybe a pop album, maybe experimental
Yeah.
R&B or something.
When I listened to Igor when it came out, I was like, because I've been listening to Odd Future for a long time, since maybe I was like 10. I was like, this is not a rap album.
Yeah, I think we've reached a point in music culture / history, whatever you want to call it, where a point in the realm of music where genre is less a defining characteristic for what people listen to, and it's more a category that labels use to market their music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you ask someone, hey, what music do you listen to? They'll start listing artists. They're not going to say, oh, I'm big into, rap. They're going to be like, oh, I listen to like Future and Lil Uzi Vert.
That's a really good take. I do think that genre is starting to becoming a lot more irrelevant, and especially because a lot of the progress that's really being made isn't people creating new genres. I think it's people who are blending genres.
Yeah.
And so that being said, what do you think of 100 gecs?
I knew this question was coming. I personally am a fan, but that's because I like shitty music and I want to suffer.
I think it's so fun because
I'm not gonna lie. It's really like unique, and it's an experience, and it's a good way to get yourself kicked out of your friend's car.
Because I'm not the biggest fan of like Blade or freaking Echo 2K.
Yeah, neither am I.
Not even
Maddie's
like Charlie.
efforts.
Oh my gosh, yes. Not even Charlie XCX. But when it comes to 100
Charlie
gecs,
XCX. Okay. Anyways, continue.
I'm sorry. I'll dive more into Charlie later, but when it comes to 100 gecs, like there's so. It's like they do their research. It's very meticulous, but it's also just straight up fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dubstep influence, and as somebody who used to be like very into dubstep, I can not only tolerate but also enjoy it. And also as somebody who produces, I can really appreciate all the little details and stuff that they put in. And it's just a fun listen. And there's just so many things 100%. That they do.
So
and
like,
it's catchy as hell. Oh my god.
So this is pseudo related, right? It's not really like exactly in the line of conversation, but I think it's a good topic to introduce here. I think we've almost reached like, I guess this is more evidence of the genre breaking / genre twisting that is going on in music. I think we've reached almost like a postmodernist state where words have no fucking meaning anymore. Because you've got someone like, Lil Uzi Vert, who's saying, oh, I'm a rock star. I'm like, no, you're not. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm a rock star. I mean, yeah, I think in the sense of the word, because with, with the parallels of rap being the new rock, and I know you don't agree with that, I think that these new rappers are rock stars. I think Post Malone really wants to be a freaking rock star so bad. I don't know why he doesn't make rock music.
Yeah, well, probably because it's dead.
Like he wants to be a rock musician so bad, but he's doing everything except for making rock music.
Yeah, because rock music isn't good for like volleyball games.
I don't know.
I think that's sort of the crowd Post Malone appeals to nowadays. It's like volleyball games.
I've actually never been to a volleyball game.
And you're a Post Malone fan?
I'm not a Post Malone fan.
Then,
I hate
I
Post
mean,
Malone.
technically we haven't found a counterexample to my role.
I guess you're right then. So with 100 gex with this
All
whole
right,
genre
yeah.
blending, where do you what do you think the future of music looks like? Because we just started a new decade.
Yeah.
We've seen a few up and comers. Where do you think it's going to go from here with this new decade?
So, in terms, I think there's two different ways to sort of look at this question, right? Where you've got where are we going in terms of commercially music that's selling, right? And then where are we going on people that are sort of pushing the boundaries in
Yeah.
the art form, even if they're not, topping the charts, right?
Yeah.
So, where I see music going from a marketing standpoint is largely, even if it's not already, then I see it moving more significantly towards social media, because whatever the newest TikTok trend is the number one song on the Billboard charts. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I think
yeah, you're right.
a largely, not largely, but a significantly ignored segment of marketing for the past decade that social media has been relevant. I think we're starting to see a resurgence, or not resurgence. Fuck me, dude. A surgence, a spike,
Yeah.
a spike in social media based marketing when it comes to music.
Okay,
And then
so that's what's gonna sell. Where do you think the real boundary pushers? What do you think that's gonna look like?
yeah, so in terms of electronic production, I think is more where we're headed. Just seeing what crazy stuff you can do with auto tune. And I don't know, I'm not a music producer. I don't know about all this new fancy. What's Logic? I don't know. But whatever they're doing, whatever your groups like 100 gex or your other sort of Spotify playlist hyperpop groups are doing, where they record in their bedroom and then they just do a bunch of shit to it and then put it out. You know what I mean?
Hey,
It sounds good.
That's what Boy Grapes. That's what Boy Grapes is doing.
No, I'm not hating on that. I just said I think that's where music is going. So.
Yeah, no. I agree with you with that.
And I think the emphasis on moving the emphasis away from, live studio recordings of people playing instruments and towards people, recording in their bedroom, making their Claro bedroom pop. And then in cases of people 100 gex, then just throwing that into a computer and button mashing until it sounds like shit and then putting it out. That's mean. I'm being mean there, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm glad that production is being more valued, because as somebody who plays the instruments and produces it, actually playing and singing the parts, that's not even half the battle. But being able to put together things in the right way, that is where most of the effort is. And I'm glad that people are definitely looking at production and valuing production a lot more.
I think the reason for that is because as production technology, or I guess as we could probably do this a while ago. I don't know how music production technology has advanced in the past couple decades, but as that becomes more essential to the sound of the music, you know what I mean? I feel like if you listen to Rage Against the Machine demos versus the actual track that they released on their album,
yeah,
the production is what maybe somebody did a little bit of EQ. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
So I think the role of a producer has moved from just making it extra crispy to really just making the song. I mean, the producer's half of a modern rap song.
Yeah, oh my gosh. The producers, and I'm glad the producers are getting more credit.
They're doing more work.
There's a lot of but hey, that's just how it be.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because I like how you took the question, you made two things out of it. In my opinion, commercially, I'm beginning to see where the impact that Lana Del Rey had on pop music is gonna completely shift. No, okay. I'm not even the biggest Lana Del Rey fan.
Okay.
But when she released, gosh, I think it was Born to Die.
Yeah.
It was completely different from all the other pop music. Because at the time we had like exciting, like club bangers,
Yeah.
EDM influenced
What,
stuff,
Turn Down for
and
What?
she released, yes, exactly, and she released this slower, depressing
Yeah.
pop music,
She appealed to like the edgy
and
cokeheads.
exactly. And then later in the decade, there was a big resurgence of that.
Hmm.
People like Billie Eilish, and I've heard A&Rs when they say when they're looking for people, they think how similar is this person to Billie Eilish, just because of how big the artist is.
Yeah.
And then very recently, we had Folklore, and I
Mm.
know the Swifties are gonna attack me, but Folklore just sounds like a bunch of Lana Del Rey throwaways, and
Yeah. Dog,
that sold like
Yeah.
a freaking million
I know
copies,
what
and
you
it's been
mean.
like a week.
Yeah.
And so I think this introverted approach
Hmm.
to pop music is really what the future is going to look like for this decade.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
know this is
in term, yeah.
I know this is your question, but how do you see that intersection with uh, the explosion of more, introverted like soft girl music, with um, with the surge in like bedroom pop and like Clara style, like ukulele plus like 12-year-old
I
year old
think
girl.
I think they kind of go hand in hand a bit. I think they're going to meet somewhere in the middle because honestly, there's a lot of similarities
Hmm.
in the lyrical content of the two,
Yeah.
and there's like they're probably just gonna meet in the middle somewhere between a piano ballad and a 12-year-old girl with a ukulele in her room in
Yeah.
front of her iPhone. Uh, so I think that's what pop music is gonna look like in the future. But in terms of the boundary pushers, there have been two people that I'm really, really eyeing,
Yeah.
and these people have popped up pretty recently in the last couple of years, and that is Black Midi and 100 Gex.
Hmm.
And you've heard Black Midi, right?
I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I mean I've heard of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of this unpredictable, repetitive noise rock,
Yeah.
and obviously 100 Gex, and they're both very grating. They're both stuff that you're like not gonna play in front of your friends, but you can't help but just enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so I think stuff becoming more inaccessible, more just accessing those areas of your brain where you shouldn't be enjoying something
Yeah.
but you just do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This these really abrasive in your face songs. That's where I think music is gonna go from here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. So I guess we should probably
Okay,
wrap
I
up this
had
conversation.
I've
If you got another.
okay. I have a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
Shifting gears a bit. Uh, who do you hope wins the presidential election, and who do you think is actually going to win?
Okay. Who do I hope? Okay. I'm not a fan of this question. I am a fan of this. Okay, let me just tell you my answer, and then you'll understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The pool of people that's running, or that has a realistic chance of winning right now, or even that just still has skin in the game. You know what I mean? Like I'd consider Bernie as pretty much out, right? He's conceded
Yeah,
that
Bernie
he's
is
not
out.
winning. You know what I mean? No matter how many people
Mm-hmm.
go and write his name in, he's not really even still running, in my eyes, right?
Yeah, he's not
So-
campaigning anymore, so.
So the pool that I see is what Biden, Trump, Jorgensen from the. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Joe from the
Yeah,
Libertarian,
yeah, Joe Jorgensen.
and then
Yeah.
shit. Who's the Green Party?
Jill Stein's running again.
No, they've got a different nominee this time. I think for Green Party. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. They're not going to win anyways. So who do I think is going to win? I think Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden has a lead in all the swing states. I think Trump has completely pulled out of Michigan in terms of marketing. So I think that Joe Biden's just going to pick that up pretty easily by not even spending that much effort on Michigan because Trump's just not even there anymore. So I think Joe Biden is going to get the votes, right? And Trump's just going to keep making an idiot of himself until November. So it's not like there's
that
going
being
to be...
said,
Who would I...
that being said, who do you hope wins?
Who do I hope wins?
Out of like those four that you mentioned.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say the Libertarian Party candidate, Joe Jorgensen. I tend to hate people that self-identify as libertarians, but in terms of policies, I have a lot more respect for her platform than I do for either of the two main party candidates.
I gotta ask, what do because I've looked on like Instagram on like libertarian pages,
Mhm.
and it seems like their whole thing is just not liking Democrats or Republicans. Like, what
Yeah.
is their belief?
So, with libertarians, I'd say you've got one, two, three, maybe four, 3 or 4 different sects of people that would self-identify as libertarian. So, for one, you've got like the circle jerk. I'm not like other girls. I'm gonna vote for a third party. I'm so woke that I know both sides are shit. So I'm gonna vote third party to, fucking beat my own dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you've got the people that actually kind of know politics, and they're in theory is they're still holding on to that, like, don't step on me, don't tread on me, Jesus, don't step on me, no step on
no step on snake.
yeah. So I think you've got your section of people that are still holding on to their small government ideas, but will throw their support
Okay.
behind Trump, who is without a doubt one of the most authoritarian leaders we've had in the history of this country. So I think there's a disconnect there between the platform of the party and what they actually believe. And then for your third segment, you've got your wackos who are like wearing tinfoil hats and they just think the government's made up of like lizard people that want to like come and steal their guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fourth, you've got what I would call your classical libertarians, if you will. Your people that actually believe in the small government platform and tend to have
Don't
yeah.
don't Republicans also
No.
share that belief though?
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
Republicans believe in small government.
No.
That's like their
No, 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 no. No way. Not even a little bit. What small government party funnels that much money into the military and into the police? They don't like government when it comes
Yeah,
to
point.
like helping people. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, black people are on welfare. I'm small government. I want to cut that down." But then, Daddy Uncle Sam wants another $12 billion to make or $12 trillion to make a jet that won't work for the military, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a good investment. We're keeping our country safe." I'm like, safe from fucking what? Like you're. That's the thing. I think being a conservative comes with like a level of delusion. Because they'll say, I'm small government, and then they'll be like, if you say anything bad about a police officer, I'll literally shoot you in the face. You know what I mean? I'm like, are you on crack? Like, do you know what words mean? Once again, circling back, I think we've reached a postmodernist era where you can say whatever the hell you want, and nobody gives a hell. Nobody gives a damn. They're just like, oh yeah, makes sense.
I think that's thanks to the internet.
You think that's you think like what, like nihilism? Or
No, I think the you mentioned like people just saying whatever and it not really holding much weight.
yeah.
I think that's thanks to the internet. Internet's really affected politics. And speaking of that, did you hear the news? This just came out yesterday, the day
Yeah.
before we recorded this. Trump is thinking about banning TikTok.
Yeah, I've heard. I have heard.
How do you feel about that?
I have mixed feelings. So, on one hand, I do think that data collection is a really big issue in terms of personal privacy. Even though I'm a leftist, I fucking hate the government, right? I'm an anarchist,
Yeah.
I hate corporations and the government, both people that would give their left nut to get like one more crumb of information about you. So, in terms of data collection, 100% I see what the intent is there, but I also acknowledge that there's a hypocrisy where they're like, oh, China's collecting your data. I'm like, what the fuck is China going to do with my data that Bill Gates hasn't already sold to China? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, do you enjoy TikTok as a platform?
I do.
Do you think TikTok
I
is good?
dabble.
Do you have TikTok?
I do.
Really?
I do have TikTok, yeah.
I can't get TikTok. I've heard like how addicting it is. It just Like I feel like I'll be sucked down the rabbit hole.
Well,
Like I'm already on Instagram enough.
I'm on like the boring sphere of TikTok, right? So I'm not on the one that you actually like get entertainment value from. I'm on the one that's just like 12-year-olds that know nothing, like yelling at each other about like Donald Trump. I'm on TikTok. Is that what they're calling it?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that? Do you make your own TikToks?
I've made a couple. They're pretty shit. I'm
Oh.
not shouting it out.
Okay, I really want to see this now.
No.
Okay.
I will hang up the call before you. If you pull it up right now, I will hang up, and I'm not kidding.
Okay, all right. I think that might be a good.
Is that a good stopping point
place
for you?
to,
Just
I think that's a good stop.
absolutely
So,
expose me.
I think speaking about politics, let's say if you were elected president, that means you'd be President King, which I think is a little counterintuitive.
Oh.
Wasn't the whole point
Yeah.
of somebody being president was you got to run, bro. I'm voting for you. I'm voting for
I'll
you.
take my spouse's last name.
Just shout him out. Shout me out when you become president.
Oh, I
Be
will.
like,
I'll sign an executive order that if you don't listen to Boy Grapes, you're gonna get stabbed in the face.
oh, that sounds beautiful. All right.
Oh yeah.
So, this concludes the Juicy Grapes podcast. I'd like to thank my guest Matthew King again.
Yeah, it was a juicy
Make
conversation.
Sure, awesome, yeah, and make sure you guys tune in for any extra episodes that may be coming out. See y'all.
All right. Peace.